Hello, and thanks for tuning in to Cooking with John. I'm John, and this is my cooking show. Today I've got a fantastic recipe. It's kind of like a whole dinner meal for you guys. It's very, very delicious. I've got a whole fillet of fresh, wild-caught salmon. Well, I mean, it's fresh as you can get it in the stores down here. And we're gonna go ahead and do a Dijon sweet glaze on that. We'll put it in the oven. It'll be absolutely delicious. And I'm also going to be doing a side of fingerling potatoes. Fingerling potatoes are just these tiny, tiny little potatoes. They're really, really good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take all these. I'm going to wash them up, put them into a pan, cover them in olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then I'll throw them in the oven for 45 minutes at 425 degrees. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do that first. Then we'll go ahead and actually cook the salmon. That should only take about 10 to 20 minutes depending on how fast it cooks, and it's going to be very, very good. So sit back and enjoy the video. First thing I'm going to do is take my bowl of potatoes and I'm going to rinse them off. And we take our potato fingerlings, we're going to cook them whole. We want to add, and we want to add a little bit of olive oil to that. Then we go ahead and we take our potatoes and we just want to mix them up in the olive oil. And we want all the potatoes to have a nice oily cover just like this. And we'll take a little bit of thyme and we'll sprinkle it over the potatoes. We don't need too much thyme. It's a very, very overwhelming, powerful spice. So just a little bit of salt. I often like to take the salt and dump it on my hand first so I know exactly how much salt is going on my potatoes. It's not very much, I would say just less than a teaspoon. A little bit of pepper or a lot of bit of pepper depending on how much you like. You guys know that Nikki and I both like pepper, so we're gonna go ahead and apply a generous amount of pepper to the potatoes. And we're gonna go ahead and make sure we get the thyme, the pepper, and the salt all over the potatoes. We mix them up, get those spices all over the fingerling potatoes. And we're gonna take our baking pan. I'm using a glass Pyrex. You can use metal, glass, whatever you want that is oven safe. We're going to cover it in foil. We're going in the oven at 425 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. And one of the things I like about the combination of the salmon and the fingerling potatoes is they cook in the oven at the exact same temperature, so we'll be able to start this salmon. Like I said, it'll need 10 to 20 minutes. We'll let the potatoes cook for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and put some salt and pepper on the salmon fillet, throw it in the oven for 10 minutes, take it out, cover it in our glaze that we're going to boil in the small saucepan behind me, put it in for another 10 minutes, and the meal will be done, and it will be absolutely delicious. I kid you not. I've got the salmon in the fridge and the potatoes in the oven. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually just get my glaze ready. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, a quarter tablespoon of salt, a quarter tablespoon of pepper, a tablespoon of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar. And I'll mix this together with a fork, and I'll set it aside until I'm ready to boil the glaze in a small saucepan. We're at the 20-minute mark, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put our salmon in the oven, let it cook for 10 minutes, take it out, apply the glaze, put it back in for 10 minutes, and dinner will be done. Now we take our glaze mixture, and it actually mixes very, very well. We'll dump that into our small saucepan and cook it until it boils, and after it starts boiling, we'll cook it for a couple minutes and then we'll take it off the heat and apply it to our salmon. And this isn't water, so it's going to boil a lot faster because of the ingredients. The sugar will start to bubble, the mustard will start to bubble, and you really want to make sure that you mix it. You don't want to let it sit in the bottom of the pan so it burns. Just keep mixing and mixing and mixing, and you can cook this for about 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes after it starts boiling. And after about 6 minutes, you can go ahead and give it a little taste. That is good. That is a very, very good combination of ingredients. So we'll go ahead, we'll turn the heat off this, we'll let it sit, and we'll apply it to our salmon in just a couple minutes here. So the salmon has been in for 10 minutes. We'll go ahead, we'll put just a little bit of this glaze on each piece. Just like so. The big piece gets a little bit more than the smaller pieces. Make sure we balance that out nice and even. And ideally, I would have a brush, which I need to get because my old brush kind of fell apart. But you take it and you just kind of rub it all over the pieces of salmon, and you really want to try to spread it out. You would brush it on with a brush, but you want it to be all over the whole piece of the salmon. And the salmon will go back in the oven for 10 more minutes to just harden that glaze up on top. Let it soak in a little bit, and it's going to be so good. Potatoes are done. Let me tell you what, they are hot. They are squishy and they smell delicious. And the salmon just came out of the oven. And this is how you plate the salmon with the side of potatoes. Alrighty, well, let's give it a try. Piece of salmon and a potato. They complement each other very well. That is some good cooking. Let me tell you what. Very, very good. Very, very, very good. Oh. The glaze came out perfect. The potatoes are delicious. The salmon is good. And that is a wonderful home-cooked meal. Nikki's gonna go ahead and try a bite for you guys on camera and let you know what she thinks. Nikki approved. John's Cooking Channel certified. Well guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cooking with John. I hope you appreciate the food. Go ahead, comment below, let me know what you think. If you make it, send me a picture on Twitter. I always really appreciate seeing your pictures on Twitter of my cooking because I just think it's awesome. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with all your friends on all your social media websites, and we'll catch you next time with more cooking from me, John.